It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Dunkel Productions. This is episode number 1 of the new series we like to call the Player Spotlight Series, where we spotlight a player on an episode, talk about their career achievements, where they played high school ball, college ball, where they played in the NBA, and MLB, NFL, WNBA, all the above, tennis, all kinds of sports. We'll be covering many great athletes. The first episode 1, though, is none other than Chris Paul, the man himself, the point guard himself. Chris Paul, considered one of the best point guards all time, definitely top 10 in most people's eyes. Some people have him viewed as a top 5 point guard all time. A lot of people say he'll be a top 5 point guard all time if he ends up winning the title this season. Chris Paul, born on May 6, 1985, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So, pretty straightforward right there. He went to West Forsyth in Clemens, North Carolina. So pretty interesting there. That's, a little small town in North Carolina, similar to where Chris grew up. Obviously, then he went on to play at Wake Forest, which, obviously Wake Forest, ACC school. And then he went on to become an NBA player. So Chris Paul in the NBA started out, drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, obviously. Played there, they played in Oklahoma City as well because of Hurricane Katrina. They had to relocate. Chris Paul really, at the start of his career, won Rookie of the Year, was a very good player. Wherever he went, his team won. And you saw that throughout his career in the NBA with the Hornets. And then going to the LA Clippers, which there was a trade in place where he was going to become a Laker. Turns out that didn't happen. Ended up becoming a Clipper. And, Chris Paul had great success in LAC. They sadly underachieved a little bit when he was there. That was partly because Doc Rivers was not the best at, keeping 3-1 and 3-2 leads. I believe they blew 2 or 3 when Paul was there. And then Chris Paul, took his talents to Houston, then to OKC, and now he is currently with the Phoenix Suns, which they are currently in the Western Conference Finals. So the big thing about Chris Paul, why I love Chris Paul, is wherever he goes, he elevates them. The Oklahoma City Thunder, I believe it was last season, had, I believe, like a 2% chance of making the playoffs. Some real low number like that. Chris Paul and the boys got to the playoffs. They were the 4th seed, gave Houston the 5 seed, all they could handle. I think they were either the 4th or 5th seed. I believe they were the 4th seed. Gave Houston all they could handle. Houston ended up advancing, though, on an insane block by James Harden. But where Chris Paul has gone, his teams have won. It's just a fact. It is. It's a fact. Chris Paul has been an insanely great player all throughout his career. This is no surprise that, he is one of the top point guards of all time. I talk about it all the time with Chris Paul. His impact on and off the court is absolutely amazing. Just some of his career highlights here for you guys. 11-time All-Star. All-Star Game MVP back in 2013. 4-time All-NBA first team. Very impressive. 5 times All-NBA second team. Again, very impressive. All-NBA third team in 2011. So Chris Paul has made an NBA first, second, or third team 10 times. That is crazy. 7-time NBA All-Defensive team, first team. 2-time All-Defensive second team. So again, 9 defensive NBA team selections there throughout his career. NBA Rookie of the Year. NBA All-Rookie first team. 4-time assist leader, 6-time steals leader. All-American in 2005 when he was at Wake Forest. First team All-ACC in 2005 when he was at Wake Forest. Third team All-ACC in 2004. ACC Rookie of the Year. Number 3 has been retired by Wake Forest. USA Male Athlete of the Year in 2004. USA Basketball. I mean, what this guy has done is unbelievable. He was an All-American back in high school before attending Wake Forest. So you talk about Chris Paul. You just talk about a guy that has lived up to every expectation in his career, throughout his career, and it's very impressive to me what Chris Paul has done. I am very, thankful that I've gotten to watch Chris Paul play because he just elevates the team. This year he's looking at his first chance of going to an NBA championship and probably, has a really good shot of winning it. Considering they're up 1-0 in the series against the Clippers, and I believe that they will in fact win this series. Last time Chris Paul had a chance like this was back in 2018 when they played the Golden State Warriors. They were up 3-2, but however, he had a hamstring injury, which allowed him to not play in Game 7, which meant that the Rockets would go on to lose that series despite them having a chance to win Game 6 and 7 on their home floor in Game 7, but didn't. So Chris Paul, obviously, there's a lot there. He has been an insanely great basketball player from high school till now. Just been an insane point guard, insane stat leader. I just rattled off all his career accolades. It's absolutely insane. He was amazing at Wake Forest. Sad, didn't get to watch him play that much in college. I was still, a youngster by then, wasn't really into basketball, but Chris Paul's a guy you think of when you think of the NBA. He's the president of the Players Association. He's one of the very outspoken leaders on world issues. All the above. Chris Paul is just a great person in the community. Obviously everyone knows he does stuff with State Farm. Jake from State Farm and the boys like Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, Chris Paul, I mean, you look at all of his career accolades, you look at everything that he's done throughout his career, it's just very impressive. Now, what would I say about Chris Paul? I would say he's one of the best point guards of all time for sure. Probably number 6 on my list. I think he has a chance to be in the top 5 for sure if he wins the title this year, and honestly, I don't see why not. I think Chris Paul is an unbelievable player, unbelievable talent, and I think when you saw from his time at Wake Forest to now and what he has done throughout his career is just truly inspiring, truly inspirational. You talk about James Harden, who was having trouble getting out of the first round. You drop Chris Paul on that team, they're making the Western Conference Finals. Obviously, before Paul went down, they had a 3-2 lead on one of the greatest teams ever assembled, the 2018 Warriors, with Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, and Draymond Green, with Steve Kerr as our coach, which is 5 Hall of Famers plus a coach that's 6. So, Chris Paul's obviously went up against some tough competition in his career. But going back, I think his most impressive season was obviously with Oklahoma City. He really took that young core of Shai, Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, Steven Adams still on the team, elevated that team to get them to the playoffs when they didn't really have a chance of making it. Had one of the best records in the West that year, and that's really a tribute to Chris Paul, and that's something that he's done throughout his whole career. And I think, when you talk about Chris Paul, you talk about a guy that, elevates teams. He's done that. I keep using the word elevate, but it's really true. He elevates teams, and that's the part I find most impressive about him. Obviously Chris Paul is, still playing in the league, still playing at a high level, and we'll see how long he can, carry this on into his career. And we'll see, maybe he stays with the Sun for a while, maybe he doesn't. I think obviously shown this year in the evolution of Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton that Chris Paul really does make an impact on that team and on that floor. And Coach Monty Williams, Coach Billy Donovan, when he was there, they raved about Chris Paul's leadership. They raved about him as a locker room guy. They raved about him on the basketball court. I mean, this guy's everything you want in a player. And that's why, I really chose him to be our first player spotlight series. I think when we spotlight what a guy has done on and off the court, I mean, there's so much that Chris Paul has done off the court as well. As I mentioned, really set up that bubble down in Orlando when all this when the virus was going on and the NBA had to shut down the season and they wanted to get back and finish the season, and this was the best way to do it. Chris Paul was on the forefront making these decisions to come up with a solution for the NBA bubble. Ended up doing it in Disney World, and honestly, I think it turned out great. Obviously, we got to watch basketball for, a couple months, which was awesome at a time when we really needed sports back. Chris Paul made that happen. That's a huge credit to him, and can't say enough good things about him. And, his teammates have raved about him as well. So Chris Paul, I mean, you talk about this guy, he's just a leader in the community. He's an inspiration on and off the court, from his time at Wake Forest all the way till his time with Phoenix and all beyond. Chris Paul is unbelievable. Chris Paul, if you ever see this video, just know you mean a lot to the game of basketball. You mean a lot to the fans, especially me. I'm a fan of Chris Paul's. I hope he gets it done this year and wins the title. But yeah, that's the first episode of the Player Spotlight series. If you guys have any recommendations on who I should do next, please let me know down below. We'd love to hear you guys' feedback. And again, this is the first episode, so I'm not expecting this to be perfect, but I'm expecting to get better as time goes on. Thank you guys for watching. And again, every moment matters. Also, make sure you guys follow all of our social medias down below. We'll be posting a lot more, being active on there. Instagram Lives will be returning this week, so be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of great stuff going down. If you guys haven't checked out the recent podcast, I will have that link down below as well, with myself and Jake Mueller and Riley Burbach. Make sure you guys go check that out. We talk about Nets Bucks Game 7, talk a little bit about the Suns and the Clippers. We obviously talk more about Chris Paul in that segment right there. For Hockey Talk with Dylan Griffin later in the week. Keep making every moment matter. Keep living life, keep having good times. And if you guys like this series, give it a thumbs up, watch the video, tell your friends, all that good stuff, share it around. We greatly appreciate it. And don't cloud. Have a good night, everybody.